My child, if you are listening to this message, it is not by accident. I have been watching over you through every sleepless night, every silent tear, and every battle you thought you faced alone. You have asked me many times, God, where are you? Why is nothing changing? Today, I want you to know that I have never left your side. Even when you could not feel my presence, I was carrying you through your darkest moments. The delays in your life are not denials. The closed doors are not punishments. I have been preparing something greater than you can currently see. Trust me, your story is not over. My beloved child. Tonight, as you sit quietly wondering about your future, I want you to know that I see every thought crossing your mind. I see the questions you never speak aloud. I see the tears you hide from others. I see the battles you fight when nobody else is watching. For a long time, you have been carrying burdens that were never meant for your shoulders. You wake up each morning hoping things will improve, yet many days seem to bring the same worries, the same fears, and the same unanswered questions. Sometimes you wonder if your prayers are reaching heaven at all. But listen carefully. Every prayer you whispered in the darkness has been heard. Every tear that fell from your eyes has been counted. Every moment you felt alone, I was standing beside you. There was a young man named Daniel who lived in a small town surrounded by rolling hills. To everyone around him, he appeared strong and confident. He smiled when people expected him to smile. He worked hard and fulfilled his responsibilities. Yet deep inside, Daniel felt lost. Years of disappointment had slowly weakened his spirit. Opportunities seemed to pass him by. Relationships that he valued had fallen apart. Financial struggles weighed heavily on his mind. Each night he looked at the ceiling and wondered why his life wasn't moving forward. One evening, after a particularly difficult day, Daniel walked to a quiet hill overlooking the town. The sky was dark, and only a few stars were visible through the clouds. He sat alone and asked a simple question. God, are you really listening? The wind moved gently through the grass. For several moments, there was only silence. Daniel lowered his head and sighed. He expected nothing to happen. But something unusual occurred. A deep sense of peace began filling his heart. The circumstances around him had not changed. His problems still existed. His questions remained unanswered. Yet for the first time in many years, he felt a calmness he could not explain. It was as though a gentle voice was speaking directly to his soul. Do not mistake silence for absence. The words echoed within him. Just because you cannot see my hand moving does not mean I am not working. Daniel remained still. The voice continued. There are blessings being prepared that you cannot yet understand. There are doors I am opening that you cannot yet see. There are lessons being written into your story that will one day become your testimony. Tears filled Daniel's eyes. He realized that he had spent years focusing on what he had lost while ignoring what was still possible. The voice continued speaking. My child, many people give up moments before their breakthrough arrives. They become discouraged because they judge their future based on their current circumstances. But I see what lies ahead. I know the path before you. I know the purpose I placed inside you before you were even born. The clouds above slowly began to separate, revealing more stars across the night sky. Daniel looked upward. For the first time in years, hope returned. Not because he suddenly had all the answers. Not because his problems disappeared. But because he understood something important. God was still writing his story. The chapter he was living through was difficult, but it was not the final chapter. And the same is true for you. Whatever challenge you are facing today, remember this. Your current situation is not your final destination. The struggle you are experiencing today is preparing you for a greater purpose tomorrow. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Because even when you cannot see the road ahead, I am guiding your steps. And this is only the beginning of what I am about to do in your life. My beloved child. There are seasons in life when it feels like nothing is happening. You pray, you wait, you work hard, and yet the results seem distant. During these moments, it is easy to believe that you are standing still. But I want you to understand something important. What appears to be waiting is often preparation. After that night on the hill, Daniel returned home with a renewed sense of hope. The problems in his life did not disappear overnight. The bills still needed to be paid. The challenges at work remained. The uncertainty about his future was still present. Yet something inside him had changed. Each morning he woke up with a different attitude. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" he began asking, "What is God teaching me through this?" The change seemed small, but it transformed the way he viewed every day. Weeks passed. Then months. Daniel expected immediate answers, but they did not come. At first, frustration began creeping back into his heart. One evening, while sitting alone in his room, he looked out the window and spoke quietly. "God, I thought things were supposed to get better." Again, that familiar peace filled his heart. And the voice spoke. "My child, a tree does not bear fruit the day after it is planted." Daniel listened carefully. The voice continued. "Before the fruit appears, the roots must grow deep. Before the harvest arrives, the foundation must be strong enough to support it." Daniel thought about those words. He realized that for years he had wanted success without preparation. He wanted blessings without growth. He wanted answers without patience. But now he was beginning to understand. The waiting season had a purpose. The next morning, Daniel started making changes in his life. He began reading every day to improve his knowledge. He learned new skills. He became more disciplined with his time. He treated people with greater kindness. He spent more time in prayer. No one noticed these small changes. The world celebrates dramatic moments, but rarely pays attention to quiet preparation. Yet those hidden moments were shaping his future. One day, while helping an elderly neighbor repair a broken fence, Daniel heard another lesson within his spirit. Faithfulness in small things leads to greater things. The words stayed with him. Many people dream of extraordinary opportunities, yet they ignore the ordinary responsibilities placed before them. Daniel decided that he would give his best effort regardless of whether anyone was watching. If he worked, he would work diligently. If he helped someone, he would help wholeheartedly. If he prayed, he would pray sincerely. Slowly, his character began to grow stronger. The disappointments that once controlled him no longer had the same power. The fears that once kept him awake at night started losing their grip. The man who had once felt broken was becoming someone new. Still, there were days when doubt returned. One rainy afternoon, Daniel watched dark clouds cover the sky. The weather seemed to mirror his emotions. Nothing significant had happened yet. No miracle. No breakthrough. No dramatic answer. Just ordinary days. As he stood there watching the rain, the voice returned. "Do you see the rain?" "Yes," Daniel whispered. "What is it doing?" "It's watering the ground." "And can you see the seeds growing beneath the soil?" "No." "Yet they are growing." Daniel's eyes widened. The lesson was clear. Just because growth is invisible does not mean growth is absent. Beneath the surface, things were happening that he could not see. The same truth applies to your life. You may not see immediate results. You may not understand why certain doors remain closed. You may wonder why your prayers seem delayed. But beneath the surface, I am working. I am developing strength where there was weakness. I am creating wisdom through your experiences. I am preparing opportunities that require the person you are becoming. Never underestimate the power of hidden preparation. The world may overlook it. Others may not recognize it. But every lesson, every challenge, every act of faith is shaping the future I have planned for you. Daniel did not realize it yet, but the season of preparation was almost complete. A new chapter was approaching. A chapter that would test everything he had learned. A chapter that would reveal why the waiting had been necessary. And soon, he would discover that the doors God opens often appear when they are least expected. To be continued. My beloved child. There are moments in life when you believe you know exactly how your breakthrough will arrive. You create plans. You imagine possibilities. You expect answers to come through certain people, certain opportunities, or certain circumstances. But my ways are often different from your expectations. I can open doors no one else can open. I can create opportunities where none seem to exist. And I often work through situations you would never have chosen for yourself. Months had passed since Daniel began his season of preparation. He had grown stronger, wiser, and more patient. Yet he still wondered when the promises he felt in his heart would become reality. One morning, he woke up feeling discouraged. Nothing extraordinary had happened. His life still appeared ordinary. The same streets, the same routines, the same struggles. As he prepared for work, he quietly prayed, "God, I trust you. But sometimes I wonder if anything is ever going to change." He finished his prayer and walked out the door. Little did he know that this seemingly ordinary day would become one of the most important days of his life. At work, Daniel was asked to help organize a community event. It was not part of his usual responsibilities, and at first he considered declining. He was tired and busy, but something inside him encouraged him to say yes. So he agreed. For several weeks, he worked alongside people he had never met before. Among them was a man named Samuel. Samuel was kind, thoughtful, and observant. He noticed the way Daniel treated others. He saw how Daniel remained positive even when tasks became difficult. He watched him solve problems calmly and help others without expecting recognition. Daniel never realized he was being noticed. He simply continued doing what he had learned during his season of preparation. Being faithful. Being consistent. Doing his best. One afternoon, after the event ended successfully, Samuel approached him. "Daniel," he said, "I've been watching the way you work." Daniel smiled politely. "Thank you." Samuel continued, "Our company is looking for someone with your attitude and skills. Would you be interested in meeting with our leadership team?" Daniel was shocked. He had not applied. He had not searched for the opportunity. He had not planned for this conversation. The door had appeared unexpectedly. That evening, as Daniel walked home, he remembered the words he had heard months earlier. "There are doors I am opening that you cannot yet see." For the first time, he truly understood. The opportunity had not arrived through the path he expected. It arrived through simple faithfulness, through small actions, through ordinary days. A few weeks later, Daniel attended the meeting. The position offered greater responsibility, better pay, and opportunities for growth. Everything seemed promising. But there was one problem. Daniel felt afraid. The opportunity was larger than anything he had ever attempted. Doubt immediately appeared. What if I fail? What if I'm not qualified? What if they discover I'm not good enough? That night, he sat quietly, overwhelmed by fear. Many people believe fear disappears when opportunity arrives. But often, fear becomes stronger. Because growth requires stepping beyond what feels comfortable. As Daniel sat alone, the familiar voice spoke again. "My child, the opportunity before you was not created by accident." Daniel listened. "If I open the door, why do you believe I cannot help you walk through it?" The words pierced his heart. How many times had he prayed for opportunity? How many times had he asked for change? Now that the answer stood before him, fear was trying to convince him to stay where he was. The voice continued. "Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing faith despite fear." Daniel closed his eyes. He realized that every challenge in his life had prepared him for this moment. The disappointments had taught him resilience. The waiting had taught him patience. The struggles had taught him strength. The preparation had not been wasted. It had been necessary. The next day, Daniel accepted the opportunity. He still felt nervous. He still had questions. But he chose faith over fear. And that decision marked the beginning of a new chapter. My beloved child, there may be doors appearing in your own life right now. Some may look different from what you expected. Some may feel intimidating. Some may require you to leave behind familiar comforts. Do not allow fear to make decisions that faith should make. The opportunities one placed before you are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to help you grow into the person I created you to become. Trust me when you cannot see the entire path. Trust me when the next step feels uncertain. Because the door before you may be the answer to prayers you prayed long ago. And for Daniel, walking through that door would soon lead him to an even greater lesson, one that would teach him the true meaning of perseverance. To be continued.